Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2, where I'm always happy to introduce the People's Terran in the top right in the red. It's Kier. But, reverting to his natural form, we have the Italian Stallion in the blue. It's Reynor. No Protoss against Terran, sticking with the Zerg. We'll see how it works in this best of 2 for the World Team League. There will be 2 games played. Whoever wins gets more points for their team. And speaking of points, if we get 1,200... Jimmy! 1,231 likes. You can save a drone today. On this video, on this cast, I'll cast another series. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for watching. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better. Kier versus Reynor. I believe this is a rematch of the largest tournament, or at least most recent largest tournament, the Gamers 8 Grand Finals for $400,000. A little bit less on the line here, but pride and bragging rights are just as important. Maybe more. Okay, no, it's not 400. But these two have such a different style. It's Kier's micro that gets in the way so much of the time. His macro, on the other hand, is so near perfect and so overpowering. He maintained his spot as one of the top 4 Terrans in the world. Whereas Reynor, on the other hand, his micro well, besides keeping those creep tumors alive, but his micro is near perfect, and so is his macro, but he's much more headstrong, where especially a Zerg, if he has to build Infestors and Vipers, it's a bad day. Okay? While they might work, while they might be necessary, he's a Zerg's Zerg. He wants Zerglings, and maybe some flavor of Lisk, maybe 2, depending on how spicy we feel. Lurkers, a strong maybe. Roaches, okay. But those late game kind of turtley units, not so much. So that has been his downfall somewhat in the past, especially in Zerg versus Protoss, but also against Terran. But also partially his benefit, because if you're going to rely on these massive amounts of lair tech units, well, against especially a more defensive player like Kier, you're going to have to control them near perfectly. So, starting things off, 3 command centers. You already knew that. Cloak Banshee. Kier is essentially the safest, standardist, most well-documented build in the history of StarCraft 2. Terran versus Zerg, 3 command centers into 1-1-1 with Cloak Banshee and Hellions. I don't think there's a single other style or strategy that can be pointed to and say, yeah, we've seen that before, and be more accurate. The only question will be whether Reynor sees the Banshees. And indeed, he remembers those Spore Crawlers. But immediate swerve, it's not going to be bio behind, but instead 2 more factories. Kier is taking us to McDonald's. A big mech build coming together here. Now, what flavor is it going to be? We have the Hell Clones, the battle mech style, has become popular with the changes to the cyclone, but this is a much more conventional timing. You add those factories and armories on. I expect this to be maybe a few cyclones into siege tanks. Big Gabe actually pioneering this build to an extent at DreamHack Atlanta. Hyper Sheets actually on the way as well. This is kind of a not so soft counter to the Roach style. It forces anti-air that isn't Queens for the most part. Yeah, siege tanks. Kier. Wow. Okay. All right, I like it. Gets a Banshee. I don't like that as much. Well, that's on brand, but loses a Banshee just to the extraneous Queens. Siege tank's on the way. And so far, Reynor, I don't think has really figured this out. Once the speed Banshees kick in, he's definitely going to realize. But he doesn't have a Spire. He doesn't have a Hydra Den. Queens. Now, if the creep spread gets all the way across the map, well, then maybe the Queens could be the anti-air as well. But I'd imagine Well, I personally, if you ask me, thank you for asking, by the way, how considerate. Corruptors. The Corruptor Roach style to just kind of punch everything out of the sky. And it's not a sweep, it's a punch when it comes to Corruptors. And then sweep the ground. And it also gives you a relatively easy transition into Broodlords. So that way, if they're relying on some weak anti-air, you can just sweep in with a dozen Broodlords, potentially clear the field. Because the anti-air, that's one of the big weaknesses of mech, is you don't have a lot of built-in anti-air. The Cyclones are okay early, but they definitely drop off dramatically later. Thors are expensive and vulnerable to Neural Parasite. Vikings are good, but he's already making Banshees, which kind of precludes even a reactored starport at this point. Vikings are an okay option, but they do require some upgrades and some production. And that's the big, not really problem, but stipulation, like an asterisk on mech, is the overhead cost of factories. Oh yeah, he saw the speed Banshees and immediately gets Aspire, because nothing else can really reliably deal with. Brenda! Hurt, Karen, please. Just move. Okay, well, scan spots the roaches. Not sure what he meant to do with that one. He already knew they were there, but the Banshee's still finding some drones. Reynor has a few to burn, though. Pun somewhat intended. 92 drones and counting. I think he's expecting to lose some more to the Hellions. 1-1 mech about to complete. Ghost Academy's on the way. Cure, no, the Hellions! Just kind of like okay, well. Well, the Hellions just died. Cure with some very Cure-like micro. So far, losing a lot of his unit. In terms of units lost, losing 11 Hellions. He's going to delay another base, but Reynor, we've had a relatively passive start. Here, walking onto Reynor's creep or flying past it and then getting slapped across the face for his transgressions and his trespass. Here come the Vikings. Something to mix in a little later on, but the hive is done. And I think, come on, let's get 2 Vipers, Reynor. Okay, he's already got the Greater Spire. 3 Vipers on the way. I've seen Reynor try to play without Vipers before, which does feel like Vipers. If you're going to pick anything, it's going to be Vipers. Vipers, the special sauce you spread on the somewhat crispy toast that is the Zerg army composition. That he meant to either use changelings or cast creep tumors. Is why those occasionally you'll see that because corrosive bile and creep tumors are both on the same hotkey. So if you're chilling out at a pretty slow game for Reynor, 450 APM so far. Cure! Cloaks, though the Overseers are at point blank range. Here comes Reynor trying to fight into an entrenched siege tank line without the Vipers. He is maxed out. He does cancel another command center, so relatively cheap. If he can keep Cure limited to just 4 bases, rather, the 2 outlying ones there, then he can eventually whittle him down. But Cure has added in the Ghosts. Yes, the Ghosts are kind of required in order to maintain parity with the Zerg, because eventually they get Vipers, they get Infestors, maybe even Ultras and Broods, and Ghosts are just better than anything else at dealing with that. But the Vipers are already here, and the Ghosts are now. Binding Cloud on the Planetary. And the tanks as well. The Banelings rolling in to chase things down. Speed Banshees dealt with back at home. More Banelings rolling through. Planetary's just gone. The Ghosts can maybe line up some shots on the Ravagers, but otherwise, a solid and efficient cleanup there. And 82 Zerglings gonna follow it up. Because that's how Reynor do. Banshees have not found a lot of value. Banshees have struggled to get anything done, but at the same time, still very limited anti-air. The Queens will politely yet firmly ask those Vikings to leave. Just, we didn't really see much of the mech itself here. I was excited for maybe a more aggressive mech style, but this is the classical, this is turtle mech. Okay, let's not, oh, wow, the Zerglings overwhelming the tanks, using their own, how many, you know, I want to know how many tanks Cure killed. Cure killed 4 tanks, Reynor killed 3. So, looks like siege tanks are pretty good counter to tanks. You can write that down somewhere. Write that down. Like and subscribe and write that down. Ghost Cloak about to complete, but Reynor has everything. The thing is, we've seen this game before. Reynor with everything, the whole map, and Cure buckling down. Will Reynor be able to break him? Or can Cure hold the line efficiently enough? Binding clouds across the board. 4 siege tanks knocked out of the fight. Whether that's a good thing? Banelings rolling in, chasing down the SCVs to the north side. But the planetary will hold. Honestly, SCV count 68. He doesn't really need more than 50 or 60 at this stage of the game. There are 5 orbitals, more command centers on the way. So Cure holds. It was a pretty rough fight for Reynor, but he's only lost 2,000 more minerals so far, and actually a little bit less gas. This army. Now, in typical Reynor fashion, like I mentioned, he does not like building Viper Infestor. He'll build the Vipers, but the Infestors are a much taller order. And as you can see, so far, without the Infestors, it's getting harder and harder. Oh my. Okay. Well, dealing with this, he pulls back the Zerglings before they can get roasted by the Hellbats. Smart servos, +3 mech weapons, a literal line of siege tanks. Wow. Cure has just given up the map to Reynor. Pretty soon, Reynor's going to be mining from much more than halfway bases, the north and the south. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Not there yet, but Reynor has creep over halfway. The mini-map is turning more and more purple. And almost spreading creep in time. Like, the Queens are here to protest the landing of this command center. Now, this is the moment. This command center is the most important part of the game so far. Reynor has not had the army to crush Cure, but now Cure needs another base. And where's he gonna get it? Here comes Reynor, choosing an alternative angle as the army moved out of position. The Banelings rolling in, finding a lot of SCVs. Bit of a choke point there on the Ravagers. Binding Cloud helping out a bit, but that's too far. He stepped a little bit too far. And now Cure did not lose that much in that fight. Did I lie? No. No, Cure lost Hellbats, Hellions, a couple command centers. Which sounds like a lot, but 400 minerals for a command center. A little bit more for a planetary, 550, 150. I guess it's 550 for an orbital as well, but he did lose any orbitals. Reynor's at 100 drones, which means his max army supply without fancy tricks is 100 at the moment. I'm a great mathematician. But that means he doesn't usually have enough army to bring to bear. Cure looking to help him out with that, though. He's roasting about a dozen drones. Another planetary down. Gets the Liberator as well. Consolation. Not really consolation, just addition. Bonus. 9 Broodlords on the way. Is it time, though, for the Broodlord transition? Because you gotta ask, can I just sweep away all the ground, and is the anti-air so limited? Parasitic Bomb, wow. He refused to actually build any anti-air. He has not revealed the Corruptors. And now for the first time, these Broodlords will show up. The first indications of a Spire. I think he realized something. There's a Thor on the way, more Ghosts, Fusion Core. Imagine for advanced ballistics. God, full turtle. He's got siege tanks everywhere, which means the Broodlords are a real danger right now. Forward, how many ghosts? There's 13 ghosts against 13 Broodlords. Oh, he's gonna use the Bubula in order. Oh, but the detection! No! God! No! My God! It's a disaster! Oh no! Well, he sieged up the Overseers a few pixels too far away. And the ghost very much realized it. I gotta go back one more time, and we gotta see Reynor's perspective here. He's like, oh no, you see the shots come out, but the Broodlords are already over half gone by the time he can move into position. It's a disaster. Reynor, having a real tough go of it there. But that's no Infestors. Cure knows Reynor. Everyone knows. Oh, wait. I think there's an Infestor. Finally showed up. Way too late, though. corrosive bile, I think... Oh, well, hits a ghost, but are there even any medevacs? No. Cure, though, with a resounding victory in that decisive fight, and suddenly, what looked to be a relatively even game trending towards Reynor. Well, Cure decides, you know what? Let's make it fair. Well, the siege tanks are pretty good on the ground if there aren't that many Zerglings. Single target, they have more DPS, unsieged. This Thor is also here. The Corruptor is looking to knock out the Vikings after that dramatic fight. The siege tanks acting as a bodyguard for the ghosts that remain. And while Cure will take a decisive victory, it is blunted somewhat by the haphazard move out afterwards. But at the very least, this means he will hold on to that forward base, though the Zerglings have something to say about the one at the back. +1 ship weapons done. Cure also expanded. He took this opportunity to expand to the bottom right. Very important, as that base, if Reynor focuses on it, easily could go down. So getting any time on that base is going to be a very important part of all this. Cure cannot max out. He doesn't have enough money. Banelings, what? Oh, he's scanned in case of burrowed drones. Does he even have burrow? Reynor doesn't have burrow. There's more broodlords. The queen's underneath. Detection's here. There are only 7 ghosts on the field. Which, moving up now, don't want to cloak if he doesn't have to, as that takes a lot of energy. The broodling's being taken out. I like how he had an orbital at that base. Putting an orbital down to them planetaries to protect. Best of both worlds. You can just re-land it without being committed. But, of course, if the broodlords are there, it's going to be hard to re-land overall. There's one infestor, no neural parasite. When the Thor count gets too damn high, Thors and ghosts, you need the infestors. I've said it before, I'll say it again. But you need them. One infestor could turn the tide, but 5 infestors could turn the Thors. And that is a much more dramatic thing. He's going to drag most of the ground army out of position in order to isolate the tanks, which, having a tough go of it there. Not doing quite as well as he hoped, I think. But we'll be able to clear most of them up. Still some on the high ground, though. Reynor, haphazard. Down goes another one. The Thors are pounding their way forward, and the Queens are not around to provide much more anti-air. There's still enough broodlords for now that the Thors can't close in, especially with the siege tanks kind of helping out as well. Nope! Almost another queen. You gotta be so careful, though. Those Thors hit so hard. How many Thors? 7 Thors against 9 broodlords. As well as the ghosts, it's getting real dicey. That one infestor is very, very important. Okay, and now it's very dead. It looks like he got a fungal at the last second, but didn't hit the ghost. Slings and Banes rolling in, trying to cover here. Can cloak the ghosts if needed. A couple Thors will go down, but there's no anti-air. All the Corruptors died right now. Ah! Oh, forgive my outburst, but the broodlords are dead again. Down go the queens. Kira will re-clear. It might not be pretty. It might be, you know what, a little shameful. But Kira knows Reynor will continue to attack, even if in his best interests. Reynor, on paper, we know this from Cyril. The best move is to take 1 or 2 more bases and then just choke them out. Just slowly but surely. But Reynor wants to hit him and knock him out. But right now, he's mining from the north, he mines from the south, and he's focusing on the very center of the line. Seems to be the constant issue. Well, the constant issue is no infestor. Neural parasite and fungal are needed, and they're not available. All right. More snipes. The siege tank's taken out, but it's also very plausible that Reynor just overwhelms him and knocks him out. But it's getting dicier and dicier. He's lost 10,000 more minerals. He's mined 12,000 more. He's lost 4,000 more gas. He's mined 5,000 more. What is this? What is... Kier, go. No, go. Where are you going? Why are all your ghosts here? Stop doing this. I'm sorry, I'm not here to angry coach. I'm just disappointed. That's really the more... Cure... No, we don't send our ghosts out. Make Marines if you want to do that. I don't know... The ghost decided he wanted to play some StarCraft Ghost over there. But let's cancel that idea. Cure is notorious as the People's Terran for acting much like a Diamond Leaguer in... Yeah, I know ghosts are the right idea, but they're really hard to use, bro, so I'm just gonna complain about Zerg instead. Cure has a tendency to have all those ghosts all clumped up, but there's no infestors to exploit it. So, he'll get away with it for now. A siege tank counterattack. The Hellbats are burning through the spine, and we'll get the much more flammable drones behind. The siege tank's just taking things out. Hellbats waddling up, chasing down... Oh god, not again with the ghosts. He sieges them. Why are you sieging them? I know. Yeah, they're much cooler when they're sieged. Hellions running by. Reynor losing a lot of drones. He's down to 50 drones. And dropping here. The ghost joined up with the tanks. 34 drones down. He actually has to rebuild drones at this very uncomfortable timing. And Cure is nearly maxed out. Reynor does not have much left at his original 4 bases. And even his outlying bases now to the north are starting to mine out. He's consuming... Yeah, maybe the dead extractors there. There's no more gas left to mine, so those extractors are just... they're only good for base trades and consumption at this point. Cure. He's got 7 orbitals. He can keep a scan on that army at essentially all times. It only takes 5 orbitals to do that. Fun fact, but if you want to have multiple scans or mules or whatever, which most Terrans do. And now, Reynor... I feel like we've seen this game before. I'm getting some intense deja vu. But, alright, the ghost falling back, looking for more. The Hellbat's moving up. The ghost being chased down. He doesn't he cloaks at the last second. The Hellbats will protect. The Overseers are here, but the ghost will finally spread out. And Cure, well, will be forced back. Loses a couple more Hellbats, but overall, he cleared the base. He held on to all of his own, and he has the core of his army intact. And now Reynor says, fine, Mom, I'll make infestors. I'll do, fine. I do. Well, he makes not 1, but 1 plus 1 infestors, does Reynor. 2 of them. No burrow, though. Which is an oversight, possibly more massive than the Overseer count. Thing is, though, Cure has to come back and defend. Here comes Reynor. Back and back and back again. Oh my. Trying to land the base. There's already a hatchery there, but that'll be dealt with. Cure did lose a lot of supply. Well, I feel like it's more he's... Are those walled off? Oh, he has the depots. It's more that he hasn't decided what to build than he's actually not able to produce. He has the money, just not the gas. You don't want everything in hell. Remember that Liberators have an anti-air attack? Doing emotional damage to the broods. Yeah. Well. And the Vipers. Oh. This is an odd fight. Well, those are dead. No, not the infestors. Oh my god, almost loses 1. Did he lose 1? No, he has both infestors. Here come the ghosts. Alright, now's your time, infestors. He cloaks the ghosts. Could just snipe off the Overseers. He does. And the queens. And another queen. Oh no, it's getting really bad. Where did all those Overseers go? He had like 12 of them. How many has he lost this game? He's lost 7. And he has 6 more. Well, the planetary. But Reynor slowly but surely grinded his way through. Nearly at 608 PM now. Things got a bit more dramatic as the game picked up. The wall of Hellbats to hold the line. Looking for a fungal. Doesn't quite hit the ghost. Does hit the Hellbats, which siege tanks helping out a lot against the Hellbats too. But the ghosts. The ghosts. Where's the fungal? There it is. And is that enough? It maybe, because he interrupted 1 round of snipes And now there's only 4 ghosts with only 3 snipes left. Which... it's not pretty. It appears 2 infestors was barely enough to break the defense. And now Cure, his anti-air is 6 ghosts and 3 liberators, which is not enough. Even if those ghosts had full energy, which they certainly do not. And it feels like Reynor has just been leaning on Cure this entire game. And Cure wriggled around a bit and managed to find some space, but then the infestors came in and held a pillow over his nose. Well, there is no light at the end of the tunnel here. For Cure, well, there's a lot of lights on the edge of those Hellions. Roasting the drones. Reynor down to 34 drones. Here's the thing. If he does lose the broods, Reynor cannot rebuild them. He's actually in dire economic straits here. He really does need to be careful, as only Cure's lack of anti-air is keeping this going. There's 1 Thor. He's nickel and diming Vikings, like, ooh. Blinding Cloud on all the tanks there, and the ground army is still very strong. The Brood Lord's coming through. The King of the Hill here. Reynor's got to be careful of overstaying his welcome. Wait, how many? No, my God, not again. Oh wait, they're the Corruptors. If he snipes out the Corrupt, this is a messy fight. I think there's still 2 broods. Get some more snipes. If he runs out of Corruptors, Reynor's actually completely out of money. But Cure's out of everything else but Hellbats, so... what's left? 4 ghosts, a Thor, and a Viking. And 17 Hellbats, which are worth mentioning. And Reynor is mining again. Pretty much all his drones at this one base. Oh my God. He almost kills the last Broodlord. Honestly, 1 Broodlord not very scary. A scan. Not sure what he's scanning. I guess maybe looking to see if he's completely out. There's just the 1 brood. All it's gonna take is 1 more snipe. He could just fire it off with several ghosts. The Corruptors will kill an orbital. How many left? 5. Oh, he's fine with that. Hellbat's fighting. 1 siege tank. All right, the ghost. He gets the last tank. He got all the Hellbats. And here come the Zerglings. Which, still... Hey, and there it is. GG. Wow. Reynor refuses to play that totally late game. And in my opinion, that actually made the game take a lot longer. But Reynor ahead for the better part of 30 minutes. Most of 30 minutes. But 30 minutes nonetheless. Wow. That was, 800 Zerglings. The amount of Zerglings Reynor is willing to lose to avoid that boring, stalemate-style late game is quite impressive. But Cure feels like he kind of went mech, and never got anywhere with it. I like the idea, but at the end of the day, well, it's hard to see it working out in that style. Well, here we go. Game 2. Our last game. Either way. Because this is a Team League style match, which means we add up the scores of the players matching up at the end. And if the series is worth watching, I'll cast that as well. But we just play 2 games between the players. Which I kind of like because, even for me, I don't get spoiled. Like, Reynor might take a 2-0, but Cure might take... Either way. So. Oh yeah, that did... Reynor was so... like... It's infestors. You need infestors. Cure, being a little haphazard with his units is the only thing. Like, I hate to be that guy. Not that much. I don't hate it nearly enough. I should have more shame, but Clem would have won that game easily. Like, give Clem that exact scenario at like 15 minutes with 15 ghosts, and 5 bases. Oh yeah, no question, no doubt in my mind that Clem is making the calls and moves to take that game from Reynor. We've seen it before. It's just Cure, despite being a slow and clunky composition, it is very hard to get everything going in the correct direction because it's so slow and clunky. You got Ravagers and Lings running things down. Speaking of Lings, Reynor's opened up with the early Zergling push, and the Reaper's on the wrong side of history here. It's going to be heading back now. Loses 1 Marine. Going to delay the command center, but it is just 6 Lings here, so... Well, fancy micro. No. Ends up killing 1 Marine. The Reaper comes out and says, everybody good? All right. Heads back out. 2 command centers. Gonna be slapping down the starport. No real permanent damage there. In fact, that was a bit of an odd choice from Reynor to send all those out. I think Cure actually might come out slightly ahead of that. Just because of the opportunity cost. But, oh well, Roach Horn. That Roach Horn is way too early to be defensive. Where did he put it? At the very front. Will Cure see it? Oh! That's a very suspicious... He saw it. Very likely. Oh, what? He doesn't go Banshee? Maybe Viking into Banshee. But... now the question is... I think Reynor has to assume that he saw the Roach Horn. So, what do you do? Two, 5. He's got 37 drones behind him. This is probably just the Mac Roach push, where you build enough roaches to backhand any Hellions out of your face, make them play defensive, and then get a bunch of drones behind. Usually around 8 roaches, gonna be 6 this time around. But that is more than enough to keep the Hellions pushed back and kind of force a Banshee. Though I think Cure would have gone for a Banshee anyways, that's besides the point. Roaches are spotted, alarm is raised, and the bunker is built. But Cure not slowing down too much, and neither is Reynor, who's already going for a lair. He's got more drones on the way. And Banshee Cloak. And now it's going to be Bio this time around. Smart move, I think, on this map especially. This is one of the toughest maps for Zergs in this matchup. The sheer rush distance and the ability. It's very hard to hold a well-timed Terran push without taking dramatic losses or having to cut your economy. The rush distance is just simply very short, and there's a lot of opportunity to use siege tanks on all these high grounds near the center. Alright, Hellions. Gonna try to slip by. The Queen's moving into position. Scrambling. Roaches close behind. Now we'll see, does Reynor focus on a more roach-based composition, like that Roach Hammer? Or are we switching it up? He's got the lair done. No Baneling Nest. No Evolution Chambers, right? No Evolution Chamber. There we go. Viking came into the main. Bit of a distract tick there. No Roach Speed. Important to indicate. And that means I think we're switching Ling Bane. Anything more, we'll have to follow. 4 more gases. Mutas? Because he doesn't even have a... There's the Bane Nest. There's the +1 Carapace. There's the +1 melee. Cure's got his upgrades a few seconds quicker. They take the same amount of time, so whoever starts them first will have the advantage. Overseer comes in. I think that's out of respect for Cure going Mac last game. Overseer's still a good choice no matter what. But making sure to get it as quick as possible. Doesn't want to be caught off guard by Mech again. Banshees. Annoying the 4th base, but not much more than that. Viking! Here! Oh my. Well, come back here. Somehow the Viking escapes. Infest. Oh, Ultra Rush. The Ultra is getting a 25 mineral discount, which means you can build for every 11 Ultras you build. You get enough extra minerals after the patch for another Ultralisk. So usually it's not the minerals, though, the limiting factor, but still. How exciting. Or it could just be road. Because of the lack of road speed, which I think was just a mistake out of Reynor. Not at this point, it seems like he actually did intend on that. Yeah, it wasn't skipping it entirely. The Roachling Bane with Vipers is also a perfectly viable army. Cure really reverting back to that more turtly Terran. Still sitting back. It's 7.5 minutes in, and he's done nothing but poke around with Hellions. He does, it looks like he wants to go, yeah, he doesn't even have, there's the 2 medevacs. This is the first set of potential aggression. He's just letting Reynor have the map, which is, in my opinion, a big mistake. Because Reynor, especially against siege tanks, this isn't mech. This isn't a unit composition that requires kind of a different style than Reynor likes to play. No, he knows how to kill Marines, but the Marines apparently know how to kill Ravagers just fine as well, so good start for Cure. Only loses a handful of Marines to get those Ravagers, and going to force a response by heading towards the main. Drilling Claws on the way. +2 infantry weapons and armor. Drop forces Reynor to send back a bit more. And now we see he's got the hive done. Adrenal Glands is the first choice. No gas or anything else yet, but the Banshees find the 4th base here. And we'll get a few drone kills before any Spore Crawlers are up. More Spores on the way. There's a Viper. Bunch more drones. No Ultra Cavern yet, or maybe at all. Gonna clear up a bunch of the creep with the Marines. Some lackadaisical Marine micro there. And ends up losing, like, most of the 16 Marines in those medevacs. Where are there supposed to be medevacs here? Hello? The Marines in Cure's army better have good life insurance policies. Yeah, bleeding out a lot of Marines on each side. Oh, the medevacs! Did he select? No, he came back. Oh, moose away. And the Zerglings will clean it up. There's the Ultra Cavern. There is no Ghost Academy. So, a whole bunch of Widow Mines on the way, but Cure just sitting back, building mines. He's maxed out. About to have 2-2, so if you're not going to get a goat... Wait, is that... Oh, that was a Zergling just sitting there while the planetary finished. He yanked in a medevac full of Marines, but here comes Cure with his maxed out army. This is essentially an all-in 2-2 timing. About as late as all-in gets, but he doesn't have Ghosts, he doesn't have Liberators, he doesn't have... Oh my god, he yanked in the fight. He's now adding them. But this is Cure hitting with everything. He's... Oh my god! Oh, the bait! It was masterful! So much damage! Holy sh... I want to see it again. This was the most obvious yet still effective play. I want to know how many. My record, personally, is 37 kills in a single Widowmine hit, which is about the maximum radius. 24! Still good. And, well, Reynor gonna chase down back at home. And Cure losing a lot. He's got to be careful not to... He has to be aggressive here. Otherwise, he's gonna get run over. But here we go on the creep. That's still a lot of Banelings. Oh my. Well, Banelings kind of splitting. If the bio is allowed to stand tall, though, the damage output is unparalleled. The Vipers have gotten involved. Parasitic Mom, definitely a danger. You're just full retreat. The Zergling's trying to get us around. They'll expect some of us in the wreckage. That Widowmine looking for more. That one in the back line. Another big hit. He will clean it up. Parasitic Bomb. Tank drop down. I don't want to be in here. Oh, be careful. God, just gotta be careful with those medevacs. But Again, Cure is just driven back by Reynor, who's more than willing to lose a few hundred Zerglings in order to break him. It wouldn't be the first, and it won't be the last time. All right. Cure. Oh my god, just so many stims. Medivacs. Oh my god, the splash damage between the Whittle Mines and Parasitic Bombs. Just completely sweeping the air. Oh, Cure. Gotta be careful with those things. We gotta check again. Cure killed 1 Medivac. A tank and 6 Marines. Reynor got 6 of them. So overall, Reynor doing the vast majority of the damage, but Cure staying aggressive. His supply, his micro is made up for so much of the time by his macro. The details are not flashy, but they are effective. Oh god, these Whittle Mines, though, are doing their best to ruin Cure's army. Quarantines the Medivac. Be careful! Oh my god, social distancing is important. Oh god. It's like Parasitic Bomb isn't real. Alright, it's a lie made up by the Terran scientists in the tech labs. Alright, just fly right next to me, bro. Oh my god. They're just trying to sell more Medivac repair kits. Well, the Marauder's just kind of hanging out. Ultra shows up. Parasitic Bomb again. Oh my god, it's doing terrible, terrible damage. Here comes Reynor. Just bashing through the planetary. 3-3 finishing at the exact second for both sides. So no advantage on either side here. Completed. 13 SCVs down with the planetary, and Reynor just keeps hacking away at him. It's this entire set is looking more one-sided than a Mobius strip here. And now Reynor with 2K, 6K, 600 in the bank. He's maxed out. 200 to 141 supply. Cure. He's not getting anything done this entire series. He's not been able to do any real counter-aggression. Yeah, sure, he sent out a Liberator and some Hellions here and there, but he hasn't been able to maintain pressure on any part of the map that Reynor isn't already focused on. And if Reynor's able to focus, and he's got this sort of army, and you don't even have ghosts, well, good luck and good night. Another wave of Whittle Mines. Parasitic Bomb, another Medivac down. Here are the ghosts. Another big hit from the mines, but the Ultras are chewing through yet another base, and a few Banelings split off. Will force the army back. Kills the Orbital. It just right-clicks on another one, and down go 2 more bases. Reynor's lost 330 length. He had 70 more in production. No, don't you dare load up these. Cure's like, well, I gotta get some pressure on. And then he realizes that those Medivacs are a hop, skip, and a Parasitic Bomb away from disaster. Then he goes out anyways, but at least he unloaded, I guess. Trying to control the creep here. But I do feel like 360 versus 550 APM. It isn't everything, but it's also not nothing. It does truly feel like Reynor is running him around in circles right now. And, wow. Despite everything, Cure still has a pretty comparable army supply. Typical. The ghosts are out, but Reynor has so much more income. Besides a mule mountain there. It's been all Reynor for the last 10 minutes. And it's not much more than 10 minutes in this game so far. The snipes on the Ultras. The Banelings crash through behind, though. Parasitic Bomb. A stronghold, though, on the high ground. 16 SCVs die. Almost loses more meta. How many Medivacs dead? 16! Wow! There are games we see less than 16 Medivacs built by this time. But Cure just continues producing, but Reynor has a bigger bank than he did before the previous fight. So, 4 more Ultras on the way. Cure doing a great job of being a punching bag here, but Reynor, the Italian stallion, just keeps swinging. Ah. All right, Reynor, it's time. I'm not even going to complain about the infest. He doesn't need the infestors this game. He just needs to keep going. It's not getting any easier for Cure. Widowmine, decent hit, not decent enough. Those ghosts on the back line here. No parasitic bombs. He tries to hold the line, splits everything, which means none of those units firing. The wielding the banelings like a meat shield, a meat cleaver indeed. As he slices, he parts the Red Sea, and he takes out another base. All right. Well, Cure not dead, and Reynor not too unhappy with that, though. Again, he's remaxed out with more in the bank. Every time, it seems like he's getting a little further ahead. This is the kind of game that Reynor loves to play. All right, a few Vipers maybe, but otherwise Ultras, Lings, and Banes, and we just keep going. God. Reynor. 63! 63 Banelings simultaneously. And this is how you throw games, or win them, by the way. That is the army now. About 2,000 gas of Banelings, give or take. And here we go for another round. He's rolling in. Cure losing. The medevacs keep coming back because they're still on the hotkey. The Banelings. So many Banelings. Rolling all the way through, forcing the splits while the Ultras chew up the isolated units. The Ghosts line up the snipes, but there are too many. The Banelings rolled back. They didn't even find enough targets. And they're still going. The last survivors, Cure, will tap out just as they go down. And Reynor will take a convincing, a decisive, and honestly, a bit embarrassing for Cure 2-0. That was a bit of a stomp, as the only thing Cure could do was play defense. And, well, Reynor, while he a little concerning in game one, how long he took to finish him off. A decisive performance takes both matches and our hearts and minds. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I made your day a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon. But I hear that liking and subscribing is still free. It'd be awesome if you check out the second channel for more gameplay and streams and commentary and all that boring stuff. And recommend it if you find something you like. It'd be awesome. That helps out a lot. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Good luck. Have fun. Stay chill.